During the transatlantic slave trade, Africa was known as an attractive destination for slave masters who traveled around the world in search of slaves, natural resources, and exotic animals. Among the countries that were affected by the slave trade was Nigeria. These slave masters, with the help of some African leaders, had unfettered access to the enormous natural and human capital resources of the continent. Unchallenged, they took away with them able-bodied men and women of the continent. But little did they know that they were not going to have it all easy all the time. In May 1803, some group of Igbo and other West African slave captives arrived in Savannah, Georgia on the slave ship named the Wanderer. They were purchased for an average of $100 each by slave merchants John Cooper and Thomas Powden, with the hope to resell them to plantation owners on nearby St. Simon's Island. The chained slaves were packed under a deck of a coastal vessel, the York, which would take them to St. Simon's. During the voyage, approximately 75 Igbo slaves rose in rebellion, overpowered their slave masters, took control of the ship, and went ahead to drown their captors, and in the process caused the grounding of the ship in Dunbar Creek. The sequence of events that followed remains unclear. It is known only that the Igbo slaves marched ashore, singing and led by their high chief. Then, on the instruction of the high chief, they walked into the marshy waters of Dunbar Creek, committing mass suicide. As they marched deep into the waters, they sang in Igbo language a song which translated to, "The water spirit brought us, the water spirit will take us back home." Roswell King, a white overseer on the nearby Pierce Butler plantation, wrote the first eyewitness accounts of the incident. He and another man, identified only as Captain Patterson, recovered many of the drowned bodies. Apparently, only a subset of the 75 Igbo rebels drowned. 13 bodies were recovered, but others remained missing, and some may have survived the suicide episode, making the actual numbers of deaths uncertain. Regardless of the numbers, the deaths signaled a powerful story of resistance, as these captives overwhelmed their captors in a strange land, took their own lives, rather than remain enslaved in the New World. This historic event is known today as the Igbo landing. The Igbo landing gradually took an enormous symbolic importance in local African American folk tales. The mutiny and subsequent suicide by the Igbo slaves were called by many locals the first freedom march in the history of the United States of America. Local people claimed that the landing and surrounding marshes in Dunbar Creek, where the Igbo slaves committed suicide in 1803, were haunted by the souls of the dead Igbo slaves. The story of the Igbos who chose death over slavery, which had long been part of Gula folklore, was finally recorded from various oral sources in the 1930s by members of the Federal Writers Project. While many historians for centuries have cast doubt on the Igbo landing mass suicide, suggesting that the entire incident was more legend than fact, the narration by Roswell King and others provided at the time were verified by post-1980 research, which used modern scientific techniques to reconstruct the episode and confirm the factual basis of the long-standing oral accounts. In September 2002, the St. Simon's Africa American community organized a 2-day commemoration with events related to Igbo history and a procession to the site of the mass suicide. 75 attendees came from different states across the United States, as well as Nigeria, Brazil, and Haiti. The attendees designated the site as a holy ground and called for the souls to be permanently at rest. Today, the Igbo landing is now an integral part of the curriculum for coastal Georgia schools. Finally, please like this video, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and don't forget to enable your post notification so you will know when I post more stories. Thank you.